Hello my frugal friends, welcome to another week of meals at our place. We are continuing our low spend November challenge into December, so I guess this is our first video in low spend December, which is super exciting. Alright, so if we haven't had the chance to hang out before, my name is Nikki. I'm an Aussie mum and I love sharing all of the tips and tricks that have helped our family budget better, demolish all of our debt, skyrocket our savings, and still have heaps of frugal fun along the way. And one of the big ways that we have saved around the house has been in the grocery department. So today's video is all about our meals this week, our grocery haul, what we had to start off with, what I picked up from the supermarket, and then the meals that we created. We are focusing on using up the things that are in our pantry and freezer already and trying to make some really yummy meals from the things that we already have on hand. So why don't we jump in and go right back to the start of the week, and we're going to have a look at what was in our fridge before I went grocery shopping. All right, taking a quick peek in the fridge to see where we're at the moment. Yogurt, there's probably maybe like a quarter in both of those left. Bits and pieces up the top here, like mustards, and there's some jams and stuff at the back. There is green curry paste that needs to be used up. Really need to put that on the menu this week. That was a pancake left over from breakfast today. Somebody needs to eat that as a snack. Just opened the cheese. Maybe we'll get another one. I'm not sure. It'll depend on how our spend is going. And I've still got half a packet of eggs there as well. Down here I've got some leftover rice from the Mongolian beef and broccoli that I made the other day, so that needs to go into the freezer or be used, but I think it's going to go into the freezer. And some of the leftover jambalaya, this also needs to go in to the freezer, and so we've got some ready-made meals there. There is a little bit of spinach. Oh look, we've got one beef and broccoli. Still got quite a bit of iceberg lettuce here to use, so we've been using that in sandwiches while we used up the other salad stuff. I might grab some more salad stuff because the fruit and veg drawers are looking really empty. Alright, we've still got heaps in the freezer as far as frozen veggies and bits and pieces. Frozen fruit goes. In my little freezing drawer, got a couple of goodies that we can do something with here that I've picked up in previous shops. And this one's full of bits and pieces to use up as well. Bacon and some ready-made meals down the bottom. 2 really small pieces of white fish. This is a bag of scraps so that I can make some scrappy stock, which I'm getting very close to being able to do that. Waffles. We really need to have waffles for breakfast. Alright, outside. It is starting to look like we are getting to the bottom of the freezer, which is awesome. So we still have some ready-made meals here. I've got some sausages and meat to use up. I still have the gnocchi. I haven't... Okay, I really need to do something with that because that has been here for a while. A few bits and pieces still down the bottom. That looks like another casserole beef there, so plenty to use up. Some treats, some sausages, some more sausages, some more sausages, some butter, and some turkey mince. Yeah, still quite a few things here to use up. Let's go and get some shopping done. This week's grocery haul, which is our first grocery haul for December, has come in at $51.95. So just $1.95 over our $50 a week goal for our family of 3, really, because even though one of our adult son still lives at home with us. He pretty much buys all of his own food now. So this is for myself, my husband, and our daughter. And we did get to pick up quite a few stickers today, which is excellent and helpful. Lots of fresh fruit and veg here. So let me talk you through what we've picked up and what we're going to do with it. Was able to pick up a big bag of kale and baby spinach. What I'm going to do with this is make an egg bake for breakfast. I'm going to use the kale and baby spinach, some of this ricotta cheese, which I also got marked down, and the eggs that I still have in the fridge. And that's going to do breakfast for us for a couple of days. Let's see how far we can make that go. But that's for breakfast, and I'll still have some of this ricotta cheese left over to do something else with. I also picked up white potatoes. They were $4 for the 2 kilo bag. A big head of cabbage. This was $2.50 today at Coles. Cauliflower was also $2.50, so lots of veggies here to make some lunches and some dinners. I was able to pick up some mushrooms marked down to $1.50, which is quite good, and some kale that was also marked down. This was $2. So one of the things I am going to do this week for lunch is a warm kale salad. So I'm going to cook the kale, sort of pan fry it, and add in some pan fried things like the mushrooms, some tomatoes. Actually, I bought the smaller tomatoes to do that with, so they were $2 for the punnet. That was the best deal today, were the orange tomatoes. They were $2. I also grabbed some sweet corn. These were $3 for the 4-pack. I'll probably cut those in half and do something with those as well. And a spider just jumped out of nowhere and landed on my cabbage. How dare it do that? So tomatoes were $2.50 a kilo. This here was just over half a kilo, so only like $1 there for some tomatoes. The cucumbers were $1.50. I got the biggest one that I could find. Now we still have some iceberg lettuce left over, so I'm going to do some salads for lunch as well, just regular old salads. I did go to the deli and picked up some Devon. This was a request for Charlotte. She wants to do some Devon and cheese sandwiches for lunch. And we picked up some cabana while we were there. So that was $2.90 for a stick of cabana. A little bit of a splurge, but you know. Also managed to pick up some Brussels sprouts marked down, $2.95. So I will use some of these to do a Brussels sprout salad for one of my lunches. And then I've got some to use in dinners as well. Picked up some bananas. They weren't a great buy today. They were $2.90 or $2.80 a kilo. And this is about 1.5 kilos, but we will use this at breakfast time. So if we do oats for breakfast, we'll usually put half a banana on there as well, or do some fruit. And the other thing is snacks as well. So bananas for snacks. I did grab another bunch of asparagus. This was $1.50 at Coles today, and we're either going to use that for dinner, or I'm going to try the recipe that Beverly shared with me for an asparagus quiche that looks really easy to make. I just don't have any feta. Wonder if I could use some of the ricotta that I've got. Not sure. Oh, spiders on me now. Oh dear. Okay. Also picked up some orange juice, $2 for the 2-litre one from Coles. Another 3-litre thing of milk. Some white bread for Charlotte to make those Devon sandwiches that she wants to do, Devon and tomato sauce. It's a bit of a hit. All right, lunches. I've also grabbed some tuna that can go in the salads that I'm going to make, as well as the cannellini beans. And the last thing that we managed to pick up, marked down on special, is some ribs. These were originally almost $22. We've picked them up for $4.35. I'm going to marinate these tonight, and we're going to cook these up tomorrow, I think, because they are quite short dated. So I'm going to get those marinating. If we don't cook them tomorrow, I'm going to marinate them and then chuck them in the freezer, and then they're ready to go. So I think that's pretty much everything. So lots of fresh fruit and veggies. lots of salad stuff, lots of markdowns. I know we are really lucky that we do manage to find lots of markdowns, but I think it's important if you do see them to grab them and to know what you're going to do with them and have a plan, because some of these things like the ribs and the kale and ricotta egg bake that I'm going to have to do those tonight. So you do have to have a plan and get ready and make sure that you're using those things, but save a couple of bucks. That is this week's shop. Let's get into some meals. All right, I'm getting our kale and egg bake breakfast thing happening here at the moment. This is my really big pan and I've used about half of this bag. So I'm probably going to do the other half maybe in a rice salad tomorrow, but this is a heap of greens. So I'm going to beat up some eggs with a little bit of milk. I'm going to chuck in some of this ricotta cheese, get it into the oven and get this breakfast slice happening. All right, 6 eggs, some Tuscan. If you want to put a little bit of flavor in, add it to the eggs. I've got in half of the ricotta. We're going to pour this over the top and see what it looks like. Okay, so we're going to need like way more eggs. So I'm going to do the rest of the eggs that I've got because that did not go very far at all. Okay, so 12 eggs. Now it's all covered. Let's get it into the oven. All right, it is finally happening. I am using up the gnocchi that has been in the freezer for so long. Can you see all of this ice in here? Yeah. So this is homemade gnocchi. I did make it quite a few months ago. So what I'm going to do with this is I'm just going to pop this straight into boiling water from frozen until it floats. I'm going to cheat and I'm going to chuck one of these pre-made pasta sauces over the top of it, grated cheese, and then I'm going to stick it under the grill until the cheese is beautiful and golden brown. And I'm going to call that a night. This is going to be dinner. I'm going to be quite lazy, but let's do it. Tonight I'm going to do a really simple smoked salmon pasta. This is inspired by the recipe that is on taste.com, which I will link down below. There are a couple of things in that recipe that I don't have, so I'm substituting some things out. So I do have the smoked salmon, which is the basis for it, and pasta. It is a really simple recipe and doesn't call for a lot. You will need a lemon, so you're going to want some lemon juice and some lemon zest. I happen to have a couple of those in the fridge that really need to be used up. It does call for rocket, which I don't have, but what I am going to use is some of this baby spinach and kale. I'm just going to go through and pick out some baby spinach leaves and cut that up and put that through. I know that the rocket is a bit peppery, but I think this is going to work just as well. I'm also going to do a bit of a burnt butter sauce because I don't have capers, which is the other thing that I don't have, but I know burnt butter goes really well with the lemon, and I think this is going to work. Now, one of the things that I will say is I'm going to reserve some of the pasta water and add it to the sauce, and then that just helps the sauce really stick to the pasta when you serve it. But other than that, I think this is all I need. This is going to be really simple, really quick to pull together, and really yummy. So this salmon I did grab the other day, marked down, and what I actually did was cut it up on the board, as you can see there, and froze it, so I can actually just pull out the little bits as I need them. So there's a tip for you if you see salmon marked down like that. Tonight we are using up the last of the green curry paste that was in the fridge. So we've got some chicken, some carrots, beans, and a little bit of broccoli on some rice. And that's just the green curry sauce with a tin of coconut cream. Tonight's dinner is some leftover casserole from the freezer, and I have pan fried the Brussels sprouts that we picked up on special this week. I do microwave them a little bit first, and then I pop them in a frying pan with a little bit of garlic infused olive oil, and then we've just got some mashed potato and some veggies on the side, and that is dinner tonight. Alright, I'm going to make a salad with the leftover marked down kale and baby spinach big bag that I picked up in this week's shop. So what I've actually done is put this in a container and squeezed some fresh lemon juice over it, which does help tenderize the kale a little bit, but I am going to cook it. You can eat kale raw, but you can also fry it off in the frying pan, and it's really nice as well. So this trick, I can't remember where it comes from, but loving your kale with a little bit of olive oil and some fresh lemon juice, and then just sort of massaging it together. It really helps to break down the kale, which can be a little bit fibrous. Anyways, I'm going to fry that off with a little bit of dukkha, I think, just to add a little bit more flavor and texture to that. I've got some leftover rice. So the basis of this salad is going to be rice and kale. I think I'm going to throw in some pumpkin seeds as well. And on the side, I'm going to have some fresh tomatoes and cucumber. And I'm going to make a little bit of a sauce. I'm going to wait and see what this tastes like before I decide which way I'm going to go here, but it's definitely going to have a mayonnaise base. I'm thinking the coconut sweet chili, or maybe a little bit of the sriracha mayo into this mayo, just to give it a little bit more kick and a little bit of flavor. But I'm going to go and pull this together, and this will be lunch for me, probably for today and tomorrow. Today we are doing a new take on one of my family's classic favorite meals. So my nan used to make something that she called ming. Now I've looked up that recipe on the internet. My nan's one was different to most of the recipes that you see out there, which is very similar to, say, a chow mein. Nan's one was different, and this one is different again. So this has been affectionately nicknamed Nicki Ming because it is my take on my nan's version of ming. That's very confusing, but let's have a look at what's in this. It's really, really simple to pull together. So you must have a cabbage. If nothing else, you have to have a cabbage. So this is a massive big cabbage that I've picked up in this week's grocery haul. We are not going to use all of this cabbage in 1 week. I'm probably going to use a quarter of it in this meal today, and this is going to be a big double batch, so we're going to have leftovers. I'm going to have to find probably 3 other meals with cabbages, but the cabbage was $2.50 and we're going to make that go a long way, which is why I like buying cabbage when it's on sale. The other thing you're going to need is some mince. Now I have done this with turkey mince, which is what I'm doing again today because I have a pack in the freezer that we picked up marked down. Traditionally you use beef mince, but I've also done it with chicken as well. It all works, it's all good. Carrots, you'll need to grate up some carrots to go in this. I like to throw in some bacon because my motto is bacon makes everything better. Bacon is not in the original recipe, that is a Nikki addition. The original recipe calls for a packet of chicken noodle soup, which has a lot of onion and garlic in it, so we're not going to do that. I have done this with 2-minute chicken noodles as well, that also works. But what I've been doing lately is using rice noodles and chicken stock, which is what you're going to see me do here today, and that works just as well. And an additional veggie. Now today I'm going to throw in green beans because that's what I have on hand. In the past I've also done things like celery. I mean, you could really throw in anything that you want. The flavor really comes from the mince and the cabbage, and the base is the noodles and the stock. So with all of that said, let's jump in and make some Nicki Ming. All right, so that's 1/4 of a cabbage diced up in the slow cooker. 2 carrots grated. Might add an extra one. We'll see what this looks like once it's been mixed through. Now I'm just going to brown off the turkey mince. All right, while that turkey is browning and the bacon is defrosting in the microwave, I'm going to get the liquid in. So I've got 2 cups of water and I've got 2 chicken stock cubes, which I'm just going to crumble in over the top. And I'm going to get these veggies cooking. If I need to add a little bit more liquid and stock as we go, I will. But we'll see how this cooks down with just the 2 cups. Let this cook for a little bit and then we're going to get the noodles in. Alright, we've got the bacon frying off now, and while that's happening I'm going to get the beans in. I'd like to give you guys a measurement. I'm going to say maybe like a cup and a half, but really it's kind of just eyeballing it until it looks right. I don't know, about that much, and we'll mix it through and see how it looks. You just kind of want an even distribution of beans. Alright, let's throw in the bacon, give this a good stir, and I'm going to put this on high for 2 hours and let this all cook down a little bit. Then I'm going to come back and mix the noodles through and just heat it for say half an hour. Don't have to do it in your slow cooker. I'm just doing it in here because I can get it going early and then it can just sit here and stay warm and then it's ready for dinner. But you can do this on the stove top as well. And you probably just want to cook all of this stuff until your cabbage is cooked, so maybe half an hour on the stove top. But I'm doing it in this slow cooker here today so I can go off and do other things while this does its magic. Right, so this is how this is looking now after it's been cooking for a couple of hours. I'm going to cook the noodles by pouring some hot water over them, and then when they're a bit tender we'll throw them in as well. Alright, so I've chopped up those noodles just with a pair of kitchen scissors, and now it's time to get these in on top and mix them through. Alright, so we've let the noodles sit in the juice for a little bit just to soak up, and now we're ready to dish up. Alright, and there we go. Now that batch has made a good 8 serves I'm not sure exactly because the leftovers have just gone into a big container in the fridge, but we've dished up about half of it. This is really nice. We like it the way that it is, but you could add a little bit of soy sauce or some sweet chili sauce if you wanted to, give it a little bit more kick. I usually test it just to make sure I see that it doesn't need a little bit of extra salt when it's cooking, but the stock cubes that we use have a fair bit of salt in them, and the bacon adds a nice little bit of flavor, but that's just something to keep in mind. But there you have it. Really simple, really cheap. This cost only a couple of dollars to make, and it makes a heap of food and everybody really likes it. I'm going to get this kale ready for the salad that I'm going to make tomorrow. So what I like to do with kale when I get it in a bunch like this is prep it the night before with some lemon juice and olive oil, and in this case I'm actually going to use the garlic infused olive oil from Cobram Estate, which is going to give it a nice flavor. And what I like to do is strip the kale leaves off the stems, put them into a container, massage in the lemon juice and the olive oil, and let it sit overnight before I use it the next day. And it makes the leaves a little bit more tender. It adds some flavor. We're going to make a warm kale salad, so I am going to fry it off in the frying pan just a little bit, but this is one of my favorite ways to use kale. And the other thing that I'm going to do, although I'm going to strip the leaves off each one of these, I am going to keep all of these stems that run up the center of the kale leaf. I'm going to dice them up and put them in a snap lock bag, and I'm going to use those as sneaky vegetables in another dish later on down the track. So I don't know exactly what I'm going to do with the kale stems, but I always keep things like that in the ends of broccoli and anything that I can use as a sneaky veggie later on. Dice it up, put it in the freezer, and then when I'm making something like a spaghetti bolognese or a chili or anything like that that I can hide sneaky veggies in, I've got little packets in the freezer ready to go. I'm going to make a warm kale salad. This is going to be enough for 2 people. So Shannon and I are going to have this for lunch today. There's a bunch of different ways that you can do warm kale salad. So let me just start off by saying that. So this is what we're doing today, but basically the basis is the kale. Now I have stripped this off the stalks. I have massaged the kale with some olive oil and some lemon. You could use balsamic vinegar. There's a whole bunch of different things that you could do, but basically that's how you prep the kale. And then what you put on it is really up to you. So we've done this a bunch of different ways. Today we are going to fry off some of these mushrooms that need to be used up. We have some cherry tomatoes to use. This is our first zucchini out of the veggie patch, so I'll probably fry up a little bit of this as well. And we're going to throw in some bacon. But if you go and Google warm kale salads, you will see there is a bunch of different ways that you can top this, and they're all delicious. So some of the other things that we've done that are really nice is roasted butternut pumpkin with some pine nuts. That actually reminds me, I might throw some nuts on top of this if I can find some in the pantry. Maybe some walnuts would be really nice, pine nuts. You can get really creative. We are going to serve this with the last 2 pieces of fish that we have in the freezer. They're really small. I can't really do a lot with these, so we thought they'd be a great side for our salad today. It would be delicious if we had feta or halloumi. We don't, but this is going to be really yummy for today. well, we're going to call it there for this week. I am going to go and get ready to go grocery shopping again tomorrow, so we get to start the fun all over again. Oh, and don't forget, if you did enjoy today's video, if you could please give it a thumbs up. I really do appreciate that. It helps me know the kind of content that you guys are enjoying and what you would like to see more of. And if you would like to see more videos like this, then why don't you go ahead and hit that subscribe button down below. It is the best way to be notified when my new videos come out, and I will have another video just like this coming out next weekend, so you guys can see what we got up to and all of the meals that we pulled together from another low spend December shop. All right, well, that is it from me today. I hope you guys have a fantastic week, and I hope to see you in the next video. Until then, take care. Bye.